afternoon again everyone, and welcome back to the Icknield Way. I'm joined by someone different for this section. This is Richard, not the Richard before that I was doing Icknield Way with, another Richard. He's a loyal subscriber and knows the area quite well. So this section is Chieveley to Icklingham. It's 14 miles. If you watched the last video, this is kind of where I finished. I was sat outside the church for absolutely ages, waiting for a lift. The weather today, as you can see, is not as warm. It's a lot wetter.
Cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs. It is raining like cats and dogs, yes. It's literally not stopped raining really from the drive up here, and I think we're forecast a lot of rain today and probably tomorrow. So Richard's got a tarp, I believe. We'll have a look at that later. We're wild camping, by the way, should have mentioned that. And then I've got my little 24 litre rucksack on my back, and I've got a little OEX Fox 110. I've broken from tradition on the Icknield Way. Instead of always using a tarp and a bivvy, I sort of pussied out a bit and went, I'm going to take a tent really for this, but it's nice and low profile and quite stealthy, nice and light, so I thought, why not, we'll use that. So as I mentioned, a 14-mile section, not as far as before. We're heading down that way, leaving the church and Chieveley behind, turning right, and then we'll eventually get to Icklingham, which is in Suffolk. We're currently in Cambridgeshire, so we're going to be crossing over the Cambridgeshire-Suffolk border very soon, and the River Kennet, I believe. So we're looking forward to it despite the weather. Enough talking, let's get walking. Alright again everyone, we have arrived in the lovely little village of Dalham, and I think it's could be near 2 o'clock now, I'm not sure. The rain has stopped, the sun's come out, it's quite warm. Yeah, it's nice. There was a little breeze walking along the River Kennet, which is completely dried up. So Dalham has got loads of lovely thatched cottages. It's got a nice pub, I believe called the Affleck Arms. I actually did do a little day walk here a long time ago. I think it was with my mate Jake at the time, so if I can find it, there's a link for you to watch that if you want. I know we went in the Affleck Arms. Yeah, it's just a lovely little village, and we've crossed over the border now. We've left Cambridgeshire, we're in a new county, we're in Suffolk. I love Suffolk, one of my favourite counties. We've just had a lovely pint of Aspel each in the Affleck Arms. We did decide to go to the pub in the end. We weren't gonna, and they'd just fired up the barbecue as well outside, but it was going to be about, I think, 30 to 40 minutes cooking, so we didn't bother. But as we were leaving, the smell of that food was amazing. It was really tempting. I just thought, why are we walking away from this? But the pints of Aspel were spot on. So yeah, we're leaving Dalham now. I think we're heading up to the church next. We'll have a butcher's round there, and then our next village that we're stopping at is Gaisley, I believe. It's another thing worth mentioning. I reckon Dalham must hold some sort of record for the most thatched cottages in a village. Yeah, if you're a thatcher, this is a great place for business, I'm telling you. You could rake it in here. You could put your kids through university here, I reckon. Dalham Hall was once the property of Cecil Rhodes, the South African statesman. In Dalham Church are the remains of medieval nave wall paintings representing the 7 deadly sins. Now, I don't get too political here on Tom Outdoors, but look what wankers the MP for round here. Bastard. It's about 6 p.m. and we've arrived in the equally lovely little village of Gaisley, and the rain has started back up again, so we've donned the waterproofs. By the way, this is my new OEX men's Coolin jacket that they do. This, I got it sort of cheap while there was a sale on. I thought I'd treat myself to it, and it's good so far. It's not like super heavy, but at the same time it's not like one of those thin Pacamax. It's sort of somewhere in between. Seems to be doing the job so far. I think I'm still sweating in it a little bit, like if I've got it on when I'm walking with a rucksack, but it is what it is. Richard's just knocked up a coffee on his alcohol stove. There he is. Everything's alright in the world when you've got coffee.
Oh yes.
And we're taking shelter under this biggish tree in the graveyard of the church here. There's a perfectly good church porch that we could go and sit in on the floor, but I think this is going to last for about an hour though, this rain, so it's not ideal. It's going to stop at 7 o'clock, and really we need to get walking because we've still got quite a way to go on the map. I'll see if I can show you the map. It's probably not going to pick up too well, but we're here at Gaisley and we've got to walk all of this, cross over the main road, carry on, and then on the other side we're hoping to sort of get to sort of somewhere around here just outside Herringswell to try and camp for the night. Try and camp, he says. If not, we're going to have to come off the route up here somewhere and look for somewhere else. But yeah, so we've probably got maybe 5 miles, maybe just under that to get to where we want to get to for tonight at least. We just have to see really, but yeah, the weather is once again dictating our progress. It was really nice, it was really sunny, quite warm. There was a little bit of a breeze, and then the heavens opened, so we'll see anyway. But yeah, wish us luck. We'll be leaving Matt Hancock town soon. I've just managed to fill up my 2 1-litre Nalgene water bottles at a garage. We made a slight detour where there's like a crossing of 2 main roads, the Icknield Way, and literally I went in there and they were literally just about to close. So got 2 litres of water, got a couple of soft drinks as well, and a couple of little snacks and treats as well, just as extra energy and stuff. So that's all good. Just got to retrace our steps, and hopefully along there somewhere near Herringswell we're hoping to find somewhere maybe to pitch up for the night. So we're going to see how it goes, but we've still got daylight on our side. We've probably got about 2 hours of daylight left, I think, so that should be enough time. It's 8 p.m. and we've made a bit more progress. We're over the busy main roads and stuff, and we're not too far from Herringswell. We're walking through this lovely dense woodland. This was one of the proposed places we could try and camp, but we've just seen a ton of private land signs and stuff and gates and whatnot. Shame, because there's some really nice spots in the woods, and some of them are quite tucked away as well. But this track, the Icknield Way we're on, it's sort of like looks like a green lane, and it looks like there's a lot of wheeled traffic, so you know, you could have like gamekeepers and wardens and stuff, landowners, you know, driving up and down this. So it's not worth the risk, really. We've got a little bit more daylight left, not a lot, but I think it's going to be one of those ones we'll be sort of setting up in the dark probably. We're going to push on a little bit more and see what else there is further along the trail, but the more we do, the less we're going to have to do tomorrow morning. And you sort of have to ask yourself, is there actually a point in wild camping when you're that close to like the end point? You know, you could just sort of finish the section in one day and go home, not bother camping, you know, because you're literally like an hour, maybe 2 hours walk from the end in the morning. We'll see what there is. Wish us luck. Keep everything crossed for us. It's about 8:30 now, or just gone that. It's coming on to 9 o'clock and it's getting like dark. The footage on the camera's looking a bit grainy, so not a lot I can do about that really. It's yeah, it's not looking too promising for places to camp. We've sort of not found anywhere yet. We've just arrived in the little village of Tuddenham, or as the village sign says, Tuddenham St Mary. But apparently Richard says that it's only about half a mile away, and it's on the route. The route goes right through it. Cavenham Heath Nature Reserve. It's like a big sort of area, and I know you shouldn't really camp on nature reserves, but apparently there's a few secluded spots and stuff that we could pitch up on and stuff for the night. You know, we're going to be arriving late, you know, in sort of the dark, and we'll be setting up and sort of leaving, you know, sort of just after sort of dawn and like, you know, early morning sort of thing. So I think it's probably going to be all right. It's not that far, of course, from there to Icklingham. Like I say, you kind of could just push on to Icklingham and finish and not camp, but I wouldn't want to do that. I've wild camped or camped on every single section, and I'd like to continue that tradition. And also I've carried this camping stuff all that way. You know, I don't want to carry it and not use it. So yeah, I think that is our plan. We're gonna shoot for Cavenham Heath Nature Reserve. At least it's on the path and we haven't got a detour off of that, and then we've not got that far to go to Icklingham in the morning, as I say. So hopefully all goes well. Still keep it all crossed for us, people. Okay everybody, it's 9:45 and we found somewhere sort of tucked away from the main paths in sort of a small sort of belt of trees. It's not the best, but it'll have to do. The grass is quite long as well, so it will sort of keep our shelters hidden from view, and all the trees around us will sort of break up the shapes of the shelters. They're low profile and they're green anyway, so it'll be alright. And yeah, it's not ideal, not really supposed to, of course, you know, camp here. I would never advise you do it, but it's a last resort. So yeah, there's the stuff. I'm just going to try and squeeze the little Fox One tent in there, get set up, get me boots and socks off, air me feet, do some grub, and I've got a cider, and then I'm going to hit the hay. I'm absolutely shattered. I've walked further before in one day, but for some reason that I'm just done now. I'm like, it started getting dark and I was like, just want to get set up, go to sleep, that's it, you know. Like,
kill me off on my first walk.
Tried to kill you off, I did, yeah, I know. Richard's done very well though, so yeah, it's first wild camp as well. That's a bit bright, bloody hell, and I thought mine was bright. You got a tarp, haven't you?
Yep.
So we'll show you that once it's set up. I'll show you the Fox One V2 version 2 once it's set up. Anyways, let's make it happen. Okay, well that's the shelters all set up. Here's the OEX Fox One V2, the version 2. some cooking stuff and food and whatnot, and then that's like the stuff I've been walking in today. I'm just gonna, once I shut the main door, it'll just hang up there and sort of air out a bit so it's not as sweaty in the morning. The cider tonight is this Brothers Strawberry and Lime English Cider, 4%. Richard set up in there. There he is with his army basher, we think it is. It's a DPM, I think, is the pattern, like camo sort of thing. There you go.
Simple little setup.
Yeah, is that, has he got a, oh, it's even got an enclosed back to it. Yeah, he's got like a, yeah, so you can actually close it off at the back, so he's just got the entrance here. That's quite cosy.
Yep.
No bivvy bag, but your feet might be sticking out the bottom there, but just see how it goes. Just hope we don't get too much rain. I think we'll be alright though. And yeah, it's not a bad little spot tucked away here really. We'll keep the lights to a minimum though, so I won't do tons and tons of filming tonight, but do what we can and stuff, show you what we're going to eat. I think Richard's already had, would you have tuna and pasta bake?
Yeah, just a bit of tuna and pasta bake.
It's already prepped already, wasn't it? Exactly, yes. Unlike me, I've got to cook mine. I've got a pasta bolognese somewhere, so get that knocked up on the alcohol stove, crack open a cider, have a bit of chocolate, hit the hay. I'm inside the tent now. I've been in here a while actually, so after I'd like boiled the water and boiled me Wayfarer pasta bolognese up and like enough water for a hot drink, I just was like, I'll get in here because there was quite a lot of insects, flying insects, a few biting insects, like these, like they look like giant red ants with wings and like antennas and stuff, and one of them got in my base layer and actually like stung me on the arm. I have to have the light on while I'm eating dinner and stuff, so I thought, well, I'll just get in here and zip the door up. And me and Richard have been chatting through the shelter walls, as it were, putting the world to rights. So yeah, we think we've probably got like a mile, 2 miles, if that, probably to Icklingham tomorrow. But I'm glad we found a spot though. I'm glad that, you know, we've managed to wild camp. It's not ideal, of course, really, but I think it was better than trying to camp on, like, you know, potentially private land and stuff where there's signs up saying private land and that. I wouldn't want to do that. Whereas like this, like I've sort of done like cheeky camps in nature reserves before and stuff. It is what it is really. We're in a secluded sort of bit off of the main path and that, so we should stay pretty secluded, but we're not going to like take the piss and stay here ages, of course. I think we're going to aim to get out for sort of around 6 AM, something like that. We won't hang around too long, so it's been good so far though. All the kit's working fine, no issues. Really liking this setup. It's pretty much the identical setup I used on the Canvey Island video that I did with Hambo, where we walked all the way around the island. It's pretty much exactly the same stuff. I think I added this down jacket in and that was about it really, which I probably don't need, to be honest. It's not that cold tonight, so I'm happy with this. It's good. Glad I bought the tent and I can still sort of do everything in here. It's not too cramped. I mean, it's not my most spacious tent, but it's alright, it's fine. We want to try and get some sleep. You know, we're only going to have about 6 hours kip, so it'll have to do. Anyways, say good night, Richard.
Yeah, good night.
Enough yawning, and I'll see you in the morning. Night, everyone. Morning everyone, it's coming up to 8 AM and myself and Richard have just broken camp as you've seen, and leaving no trace as always. You know, respect the places that you camp, people. I shouldn't have to say it, I'm sure most of you already know that. I mean, I know we're not really supposed to be camping here, you're not really supposed to be wild camping anywhere, to be honest, but least of all in a nature reserve. But you know, we showed it some respect. You wouldn't have known, you know, that we've been here, and we kept pretty discreet, and you know, we're in and out. So I'll say it again, you know, I wouldn't approve of doing it, but in a pinch it's the next best thing really. So yeah, anyway, a little bit windy today out on the heath, so apologies for any wind noise. I've got to stick the microphone in a minute. Rich is just having a look around at the wildlife and the flora and fauna. And yeah, this is our view out today. We've not got far to go to Icklingham. Richard says it's about an hour's walk, maybe less than that. So I know it sort of seems pointless, you know, wild camping. But like I say, I wanted to do a camp. Glad we've done it. So for the final time, enough talking, let's get walking. Note the change in the landscape as the chalk hills are left behind and we enter the Breckland, characterised by open heath and lines of Scots pines. The soil is poor and acidic, primarily wind-blown sand through which the minimal rainfall in this area percolates easily, carrying away many of the nutrients. The heathland may originally have become established as a result of the slash and burn approach to agriculture of early man. More recently, parts of the area have been reduced to near desert as a result of overgrazing by rabbits, and later recovered to heath again. Since 1922, large areas have been afforested by the careful attention of the Forestry Commission. We've found ourselves a World War II pillbox here on the heath, not far from where we camped last night. It looks like there's a huge oak tree growing through the middle of it. It's got a blast wall on the right there, a gun slit there in the blast wall, and then in there is the pillbox itself, but they've closed it up, as you can see. Proper gate on it and that. There's all this like woodland over the back here that probably would have been more secluded. We could have gone here last night. This would have been tucked out of the way more, no footpaths around this bit. It was pitch black though, we couldn't see a thing, but river's literally over there, so you know, you could say this pillbox guarded the river. You know, you had these pillboxes like defending rivers that were probably navigable at the time.
Yeah, the River Lark, yeah.
River Lark was navigable at the time, was it? Yeah, so this would have, you know, kept an eye on like if there was enemy boats or anything, you know, if the Germans had invaded. Yeah, protecting air bases nearby. I mean, you've got RAF Mildenhall and Lake and Heath nearby. There's evidence of our military past right here on Cavenham Heath. There you go. Nice, told you I'll get a bit of history in there somewhere. This is part of the Lark Valley Path. It's a 13-mile waymarked walk between Mildenhall and Bury St Edmunds. The Lark Valley Path shares much of our route between Temple Bridge here and Westow Country Park and the Saxon Village, but keeps to the roads through Icklingham Village until All Saints Church is reached. So that weren't too far to go, and we're sort of right on the edge of Icklingham now, which is the end of this section, section 7 I believe, Chieveley to Icklingham, 14 miles. Some lovely little like thatched cottages, and it's actually got 2 churches I believe. One of them is actually a thatched church, and that's where we're gonna finish the video in this section. And then here we are, down there is our the street, as it's called. So we're going to have a look at the first church on the right. That one isn't thatched, but it's still pretty old looking. This little old thatched cottage is the old forge, and then the plough in is just there. Bit of Suffolk pink going on. Here's the village sign, and then here is that historic thatched church. Apparently it's one of the last remaining thatched churches in the country. Iron Age finds of brooches and coins have been found around Icklingham. The coins were of both the Iceni and their neighbours, the Catuvellauni. The village sign is a complicated composition portraying both these and the later Roman occupants of the region. The mill, which was recorded in the Domesday Survey, the Temple Bridge, which was reputed to be the earliest crossing of the River Lark on the former London to Norwich Road, the head of Archdeacon Sudbury, beheaded nearby and whose headless ghost once patrolled the locality. All this is flanked by the twin parish churches. So that's where we're going to leave this video today, guys. That is the end of this section of the Icknield Way, Chieveley to Icklingham, and it was 14 miles. So I want to say thanks to Richard for joining me.
Thank you, mate.
It's been a pleasure, mate. We've had a nice time.
Brilliant.
Camp, it worked out all right in the end. It wasn't the best place, but you know, it was probably the best of like a lot of bad spots, really. I think, like I've mentioned before on sections of the Icknield Way, it's really difficult to find places to wild camp, but it'll be good to get it finished. So I've got one more section left. That will be Icklingham to Nettishall Heath. It's about 16.5 miles, so that's going to be just outside Thetford, and that is the start as well of the Peddars Way and the Angles Way. So a lot of major long distance routes sort of converge at Nettishall Heath, which is quite cool. So I'm looking forward to that one. Start planning that once I get home. So it's been fun, and thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's about 1 million cars now going past, always the way when you set the camera up and start talking. Anyways, until next time everyone, take care of yourselves, look after each other and stay safe. Be nice to each other. See you soon. Cheers. Bye.
Like and subscribe.
Cheers.